Well, hello, Elise-Noelle. How are you doing today?
Hi, Nathan. I'm doing good. I'm excited and a little nervous because I've never done a podcast before, so this is new for me, but I'm doing good.
So, Elise, you have a business. You want to tell us a little bit about your business, like what it is, the name, etc.?
Yes, it's called Mini Masterpiece. It's accessories and more. It's called that because the concept for me is I'm an artist and I pour my heart and soul into all my work, whether it's a little pair of earrings or it's like a canvas painting. And each one is like a little masterpiece that I'm sharing with the world. So that's why I came up with the idea of calling it Mini Masterpiece, because all of my work, they're little pieces of art.
Nice. When did you get started?
When did I get started?
Yeah.
Uh, that's a complicated question. I mean, it was a long time coming, actually. I started handcrafting earrings about like 12 years ago. I don't know. Have you ever heard of the Gatsby Arts and Crafts Festival in Warwick?
I've thought of it,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, I grew up
Yeah.
I'm still living here, but I grew up in Warwick, and that was like a huge thing to look forward to every year on Memorial Day weekend was the festival, and I always loved going. But one year I went, and all the vendors weren't like crafters. Like there was lots of people doing MLMs, the multi-level marketing businesses, or they just bought stuff in mass or wholesale and they're reselling. There wasn't a lot of artistry, and I'm very passionate
Right.
about jewelry. So
Mm.
since I was so disappointed, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start making them myself. And I didn't take any tutorials. I just went to the store and I bought different things that I liked and I just started putting it together. And I didn't revisit it till about the summer 2021, actually, because my best friend was like, hey, I was thinking about starting an Etsy business. I'm making these bracelets. And I'm like, I've always wanted to do that. Like, I started it, but I never went through with it years ago. And I have all these earrings, and I want to start a business too. So then we started having crafting sessions together and hanging out. And since I wasn't doing bracelets and she wasn't doing earrings, we started doing shows together, and it just kind of took its own it took a life of its own from there. So that's how it started.
It's interesting to hear that a lot of people back were just like buying stuff and reselling those crafts, and it's not really a lot of homemade. And do you see now a lot of people making them now, like homemade stuff for those fairs?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think it has a lot to do with lockdown, with COVID-19.
True. Yes.
The whole crafting world just exploded. People needed hobbies,
Yeah.
and I'd say jewelry is the most saturated category out of all of them. So
Hmm.
I always have a lot of competition, but that's the one thing I do
Yeah.
love about jewelry is that even though there's a lot of it, every artist is very different in what they make.
Definitely.
So
Yeah. Did you ever go to the Shop Hawaii event at Crown Plaza in Small Business Saturday?
yes, I did last year. Actually,
Yeah.
I was a
Did
vendor.
last year? Oh, cool. Yeah, I was there too, and I was looking around. There's a lot of jewelry, but they're all different. They're all
Yeah,
unique, and you can tell like there's little personal touches to it from the
yeah,
vendor. That's
absolutely,
pretty nice.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I agree. I think the pandemic definitely allowed more like people to do more like at home because they needed stuff to do, especially the podcast. I noticed the podcast even jumped up because a lot of people were
yeah,
bored and they was start this podcast. And it's very easy nowadays to start a podcast, especially for
yeah,
free.
absolutely. That's actually why my husband started his second podcast that I can't remember the title of.
So you make different jewelry, like earrings. I see the earrings you have now. Did you make those?
I did actually. I'll show
What
you.
kind of material do you use to make them?
Oh, everything and anything. So I'll see if I can get it close. You can see the.
Nice.
This is called Rainbow Safari. All of my earrings are one of a kind, and have their own individual names because they're inspired by either a person, a concept, an idea, an experience, a movie, whatever inspires me. So when it comes to choosing materials, I literally just pick what inspires me in the moment. It could be metal, it could be glass beads, polymer clay, leather, wood, wire, just absolutely anything. If I see it and I'm like, I need to make something with that, or
Yeah.
oh, I have an idea with that. That's going to be awesome. Like, and I get these ideas in my head and I just have to make them
Yep.
like come to reality with what I see. So that's how I pick my materials.
Nice. What other stuff you make?
So I started off with the earrings and I grew. I started making 2-piece, 3-piece sets that'll have like a matching earrings, necklace, and bracelet. I also handcraft rosaries. Those are one of my favorite things to make, actually. I did start um, making rosaries 12 years ago, shortly after I started making earrings. So I really dove into doing that um, with with expanding my product line, and now I'm also doing rosary bracelets, and I have a new item there. I haven't released them yet, but I'm doing rosary keychains, which you won't find anywhere. I mean, if you like really search hard online, but you won't get anything like I make.
Yeah.
Also, I do canvas paintings because I love to paint, and I have trinket boxes, uh, little canvas wristlet bags. But I'd say my favorite thing that I make are memorial items for lost loved ones. Unfortunately, I lost my mom on September 2nd, 2020, and she's actually the reason that I have my business because um, when I, touched base with my best friend about crafting, I really threw myself into my art as a way to help heal and grieve.
Hmm.
And uh, that year following was my 10-year wedding anniversary. And my husband and I were renewing our vows. And I had been planning everything with mom ahead of time. So I almost wanted to cancel everything and do nothing. But I was like, mom would want me to follow through. And I decided on that day, I wanted to have a piece of her with me. So I came up with the idea of making a memorial charm with her picture and little different odds and ends and having it attached to my bouquet. So then I started the idea of um,
Oh wow.
bridal bouquet memorial charms. And then it grew from there. So I do pins, I do keychains, and I do the rosaries. I can either put like a cameo of somebody's picture in the centerpiece, or I also have a locket that you can put their picture in. So I'd say that's my favorite thing of what I make because it really
Yeah.
helps in the grieving process, having just a little something to honor their memory and being able to give that to other people.
Mm.
I love that.
It's like a nice thing to have with you too, about the
Yeah.
person. That's a really great idea. Nice idea. I like it.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I'm looking at your Instagram here, and I'm seeing pictures
Oh.
of different the stuff you make. Oh, this is pretty cool. There's like a rose with a cross. Are those diamonds? Like a rainbow cross?
um oh, the oil
Yeah, that's
spill.
yeah.
Yeah, it's no, I don't use genuine like
Hmm.
stones. I mostly use glass, though I will do semi-precious stones from time to time, but um I just like to get stuff that's glittery. So, I think you're talking about the rhinestone
Yeah. Yep.
encrusted
That's it. Yep.
beads. Yeah, I have those in almost every color. I love them. They're so sparkly. I love sparkles. So, yeah, they look like diamonds, but they're not, they're
Yeah.
crystal. They're
There's a
crystal.
crystal. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rhinestones. Yeah. Now I see them. I just bring it up there. That's actually really nice.
Yeah.
Right at the top.
Then
Yeah.
that'd be really expensive if they were diamond.
Yeah. I mean, they're close enough.
Yeah, close
Yeah.
enough. It's good enough for me.
Yeah. Well, you have a lot of nice jewelry products.
Thank you
Really
so
nice.
much.
But I like the packaging too. it's very minimum and nice.
Thank you.
A lot of all the packaging.
Yeah. Yeah, lots of people told me I should get custom like
Mm,
cards with my logo and everything on it. And I was like, no, I really like how it's more personal
yeah,
and more like homemade looking with like the label on it. Like I just it looks more it's more me,
yeah,
you know? I don't want it to look too like corporate.
yeah. And you could always just put like your contact information on the back of the card, like the back of the
Yeah,
packaging.
that's a great idea. That's a great
Yeah,
idea. Get some
yeah,
stickers with QR codes, slap them on the back.
yeah,
That's an excellent idea.
yeah.
Sorry, excuse me, my
It's
cat.
okay.
She's meowing in the
That's okay. My dog is laying
background.
next to me. I'm not sure if you can hear her. But
Aw, no, I can't.
yeah, how long does it take you to make like a, an errand, like one errand?
Oof, that depends. Uh, it really depends on what I'm making it with and how complicated it is. Um,
So like something you have on now, how long does
something
it
I
take
had
you
now,
that?
like this,
Yeah, how long
I
does it?
don't really time it. It could have took me 30 minutes.
That's not.
Um, it really depends how, like, sometimes I'll run into an issue,
Yeah.
or if I'm doing, especially if I'm doing chandeliers, or I'm being
Mm,
experimental with
right.
like how I'm attaching different attachments, like, or when I do clay earrings, that's a big process because I hand sculpt it and I bake it and I paint it and then I have to
All
put the
right.
findings on. So it really
Yeah.
depends.
All depends on how complex it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say the quickest
That's
I've
something.
ever made a pair is like 15 minutes. If I've done like a quick little simple drop earring,
Yeah.
but typically, I take my time with it cuz I want to make sure it's perfect. And I'm an OCD perfectionist, so
Do you do custom orders, like made to custom? Take custom orders.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I love custom orders. I love collaborating with people and getting their ideas, or they'll have something they don't know quite how to express or explain, but I'll put different concepts together for them and they'll be like, yeah, that's great. That's even better than I thought. Like, I love doing that, especially, like I said, for the
Yeah.
memorial items. I love doing custom orders for that to help give that little bit of healing to someone.
So in the beginning episode, you talked about taught yourself how to do all this, right? Did you like read in the books or watch any YouTube tutorials, or you just started playing around with the different materials and everything together?
Yeah, I there wasn't really YouTube tutorials back then the way they are
Mm,
now. There wasn't really any
true.
books. It just I just looked at it and it just kind of came together in my head
That's
and just
nice.
trial and error putting it together. Um I've always done good. Maybe that's why I'm an artist. I've always done good with spatial things and how
Hmm.
things connect. That's probably
Yeah.
one of the things I'm better at. And I don't know. I experimented, I played around, I bought tools, and I'm like, okay, this is what you need to do jewelry, and here are the materials. Let's
Yeah.
just play around, and I figured it out, and um, I
Yeah.
honed in my skills. I like at first everything came out. It was not quality. I would not sell anything now that I made back then, because you have to get better skills through
Yeah. And
doing,
that's
but
the best way to learn is just by doing it, keep doing it, and you learn by this experience too. And you
yeah.
find new ways of doing stuff, and probably new ways to add stuff into your jewelry too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you said your favorite product to make is the memorial jewelry. Is there any other favorite products that you like to make?
It really depends on the day. It depends on what vibe I'm
Mm,
feeling. Um I love the rosaries just because I get to share my faith with people in that respect. And also, I wanted to um, attract younger people to rosaries by making them fun and unique and happy and bright. Like, just because they're rosaries doesn't mean they have to be plain and all business, they can be fun. So I love that aspect and just the sitting and the repetition. I like the repetition of the rosary, putting the beads on, finding by finding. But I'd say if I had to pick a second thing, I love putting together sets. Like if I have a concept in my head, like I actually have a concept I'm working on that I haven't started physically doing that I'm gonna actually be showing off in the fashion show at the Rhode Island Spring Festival, I think is in April. And it's going to be a 3-piece set with a necklace, a bracelet, and earrings. So I love making sets because I can make them complicated and different and like nothing you see at the store. So I'm working on something that's going to be a lot of hot pink and black. I love hot pink. It's my favorite color. Um, so I'd say that like I get really into it. I'm very passionate about it, and um, making something that is a statement. I love making statement pieces, I'd say. So I'd say that's definitely up there with rosaries.
Yeah, makes sense. You mentioned you're making jewelry for a fashion show. Is this your first one that you ever made for a fashion show, or have you done others in the past, or other like events too, like that?
I've I've never done a fashion show before. It's actually it's a craft festival, but the
Yeah,
organizer is, since she has so many vendors doing clothing and accessories, wants to do
yeah,
a fashion show. So
nice.
I'm very excited about it actually, and nervous but excited.
Nice. Well, good luck with that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you
That's
very much.
that is very exciting, and put so another way to showcase your jewelry, your
Yeah.
products too.
Yeah, I'm planning to make it big. So I want people to see it like from a distance. So we'll see.
So you, where do you sell your products other than like craft shows? Do you have a online store or a physical store?
Sadly, I don't really have an online store presence. I mean, I have an Etsy store, but I
Mm,
don't currently have anything listed in there. I definitely need to take the time to put some things in there, but that's typically, since they take the fees and stuff, that's
yeah,
typically something where I'll put the larger ticket items in. I have so many smaller, more affordable ticket items like my earrings that I'm just not going to list because it's not worth it. But mostly
yeah.
it's through craft shows, but I do jewelry parties. So if you wanted to schedule me to come to your place of business to have a personal shopping experience with you and your coworkers, or if you wanted to have a party at your house with all your girlfriends and whoever you want, and to like shop my jewelry rack and look at different items, I could do that too. Those are currently the options available. I do plan to start having Facebook live sales. I haven't quite gotten to that level yet, but that is a plan for the future. And I mean, I've done a couple, but
Facebook Live.
I'm,
That's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah, like that way I can interact with the
Yeah,
people real time and have a conversation and read the
yeah,
comments and talk back and show them my wares. And I just, uh, I want it to be something that's consistent. And I've done it a couple
yeah.
times randomly, and I'm like, well, this isn't going to work if I'm not like consistently on a schedule where people will know I'm going to be there. So
True.
I haven't quite gotten to the level where I can commit to that yet, but that's definitely a plan for me.
Can people contact you like in email or through social media if they want to buy a product they see that you post?
Yeah, you can just hit me up on Instagram, Facebook. You can email me. I have a TikTok now. You can hit me up on any of my social media and be like, hey, I saw this on your video, your reel, your photo. You know, I'm interested. Do you have this still available? Or can you make something similar? You know, anytime, I'm more than happy to work that
And
way.
what's your social media handle for those listening?
Sure. It's all the same all around at Mini Masterpiece Shop for TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook.
Mini Masterpiece Shop.
And email is it's minimasterpieceshop at gmail.com. Though I do have a website. I have a domain, uh, www.minimasterpieceshop.com, that forwards to my Etsy that doesn't have anything in it. So don't worry about the website for now.
So you took the business classes with the Rhode Island Development Disability Council, right?
Yes,
What do you think of them?
I love them. And I was very I was very blessed to stumble upon them because, like you mentioned earlier, doing the uh, small business Rhode Island shop small business Rhode Island event, I applied to it and it was accepted. And there was some kind of issue where I messed up on what I need for setup on my application, and I ended up talking to Sue,
Hmm.
and she's like, "Oh, on your application, you put you're disabled. Are you?" And I'm like,
Hmm.
"Yeah." Wasn't even really, I just non thinkingly just answered the questions. And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh, how are you disabled?" And I was like, "Oh, well, I have a general anxiety and panic disorder and clinical depression. And I have a few learning disabilities. I have ADHD, dyslexia, dyscalculia. And um, I'm just doing this since I'm on a fixed income to like have a little extra income and to have a space to do my art." She's like, "Oh, that's great. Well, we have these classes." She told me all about it. So she's like, "Oh, they start next week. You want to do it?" I'm like, "Yes, let's do it." And I loved it because they they're geared towards people like me, like with learning disabilities. Like you can have the one-on-one mentor. My mentor is Sheila from Red, White, and Brew. She's
She is,
wonderful.
yeah.
And everyone, yeah, everyone's just so supportive and kind. And I
Yes.
love having the networking call on
Yep, that's
Thursday
nice.
to like touch base and stay in touch with everyone. Just, it's very supportive. They are so generous with their time and their kindness and their resources. Is just, I'm very blessed to have come across that. And I love it. I loved it. The whole thing. I still do.
Cool. Yeah, the business classes, the people in it, the Sue, Claudia, Sheila, and I can't remember her name. Karen, Karen, and they're all nice. Everyone's nice, and they're all very acceptable and take take your time with when you. It's nice to have that one-on-one mentor too. If you need to advice, or they're able to connect with other people too, other business owners.
Yeah. 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 It's great too because they're not judgmental at
But yeah,
all.
that's the one I was looking for.
And yeah, yeah, because like suffering with mental illness, I mean, I've suffered with it my whole life. Like, there's a bunch of stigma about it, and that's actually one of the things I want to tackle with my business is that people kind of look down on you. That, "Oh, I don't get how this would get in your way," and I'm like, "Well, it
Hmm.
does significantly to the point that it's disabling." So that's what I really hope to do with my work is that I inspire other people to like have difficult conversations and to express themselves. um, because I make sure my stuff's a little different, and I always make sure that I'm vulnerable and open and honest about the difficult topics, like losing a lost loved one, for instance. It always opens a good conversation.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
that's one of the goals I have. And I want to also, continue that non judgment because it's having judgment is difficult to deal with sometimes. You try to shake it off, but sometimes it can get you down and make you doubt
Yeah,
yourself.
it's also a nice time to be able to just talk to someone too. Everyone is there. Like if you just need to talk to, you can send them an email. Everyone's there. And even like the other like small business
Yeah.
owners in the call or that doing classes, they're awesome too. And we get to meet so many great people too. I met so many people and surprising, and it's so cool to see like how independent everyone is, and we all kind of have the same goal. We want to be our own boss and create jobs and like just do our own thing and be involved in the community, in the society too. And we all come together. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. And it's
It
inspiring.
is, yes,
I'm blown away by like some of the things some of these people do. I'm like,
yes,
wow, like
yep,
you are talented. It's
yes,
amazing.
yep, yep. There is a lot of talented people that we get to meet. What are some of the things that you learned in the business classes?
Whew. Um, oh, there is so much information. I mean, I'm glad I got all the information. I wouldn't even known where to start with making a business plan or uh, figuring out like your finances. Like I said before, I have dyscalculia. It's a math disability. So going through and like writing down all of my purchases and all of my income and like what I've made versus what I've spent and like making a spreadsheet, like that was so difficult, but um it helped me do that. So I was very glad to have a way to different resources in which I could do that, different apps and programs that and that they're willing to help along the way. I'd say that was all the math stuff. I'd say was the biggest help for me. So the business plan is also very complicated. But
Yes. Yeah, I agree. The, that topic we talk about business plan was definitely helpful for me. I know a little bit about business plans, but they went over like exactly not just like what you need to include in a business plan, but why you need to include it, and that was helpful to know why. And so, but yeah, but understanding why you're writing the stuff down, not just you just need to write it down.
yeah, you get the psychology of things that you'd never think of. So it's a blessing to be able to have their experience shared with you and to like really pick their brain about it and absorb it. It's
Would
awesome.
you recommend people taking the classes, the business classes?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I definitely recommend it. People would be crazy not to. Like when Sue was pitching it to me, I was like, this sounds too good to be true. What's the catch? And she's like, I know it does sound too good to be true, but it's real. And I'm like, awesome, let's do it. So yeah, absolutely. I would definitely recommend.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I'm glad I found out about it. The classes, it's definitely something I was looking for, and it kind of motivate me. It's the inspiration I needed to go in on my podcast business and turn my podcast into a business.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So, Elise-Noelle, is there anything you would like to say that we didn't talk about, or anything you'd like to tell anyone, like any advice to people that that want to start a business?
April 22nd, 11 to 3 at the West Warwick Civic Center is the Rhode Island Spring Festival. That is my next big event coming up. That is where they will have the fashion show featuring the set that I'm putting together. So I would come there and check it out. They're going to have tons of great vendors and different fun activities and things going on. And it's a great way to get some shopping in for Mother's Day. So I'd check that out if I were you. And I definitely appreciate it if you swung by my booth. I'll be doing it with my partner, Rachel Smith. She also has her own small business. It is currently called Everlasting Ray, but she's rebranding and renaming her business in time for that show. But we will be under the name Cave of Wonders because whenever we collaborate with the show, we go by Cave of Wonders Multi Artist Treasure Trove because it's a co op. But as far as advice goes, for anyone who wants to start a small business, just keep going because you're going to get really discouraged if you're doing the craft show circuit. You're going to get very discouraged because you're going to have shows that are great and shows where you literally don't make a cent. But you have to keep going, keep pushing. And what I do is I don't make it, even though business is about money, I don't make it about the money. I make it about the art. I make it about connecting with people. I focus on the human aspect of business. So that would be my advice is consistently keep pushing, but focus on the humanity of business, what you can do for people, how you can help them, how you can solve their problem, and how you can throw yourself into your work, into your product, and be passionate about it. Because if you don't feel that way, you're gonna burn out. I, for one, since I started this, feel like I'm finally doing what God put me on earth to do. So I know, like, this is what I got to do. And I've done a bunch of different things in the arts, but this is, I feel at home here. And this is worth the pain and the tears and the frustration and the long, like crazy nights that, like, because when you're an artist and you have the mental illness issues I do, you have to strike when the iron is hot and it's not on your schedule. So um so if you have a disability, it doesn't mean you can't do things. It just means you have to work a little harder and have a different set of challenges to overcome, but that you can do it if, again, stay focused, focus on your work and the people that you're helping, and make it about that. So that's my piece of advice. That's my TED talk for the day.
Awesome advice. Great advice. I like it.
Thank
It's
you.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elise-Noelle, for joining me on this podcast. And I wish you luck in your business and in your shows.
Awesome.
And
Thank you.
thank you, everyone, for listening.